Hi. So welcome to my video today. My plan today is to make a video about repotting a gigantic ivy that I have. And for any people who have paid attention to whether it's my personal Facebook page or my Instagram page or my Fog and Fern houseplant page, you'll know that I have a gigantor ivy. It's a really big ivy. So I'm going to take it down here in a minute and show you. And then I've never taken this plant out of the pot to even know what it looks like. All I know is that it's definitely root bound and in need of a repot. So I could take this out and it could just be nasty. I don't know, but I don't want my plant getting sick because it's definitely root bound. And ivies have a reputation for getting spider mites when they're not healthy. So, excuse me, just gotta get a coffee. I don't want that to happen to this beautiful plant. So, just hang out for a second. I'm just gonna go grab it and we'll see what we're up against. So you can probably hear me take it down. So here it is. It's massive. Look at this thing. It's so light, you know, definitely needs to be watered. I can't keep the watering going to this plant. So that's like one way you know your plant needs to be watered is that, or this one way you know, first of all, yes, that your plant needs to be watered is that it is very light when you lift it up. So that just goes to tell you, that tells you that. But at the same time, you know your plant is root bound potentially when you water your plant. The water goes right through the soil, through the pot, runs at the drainage hole. Hopefully you have drainage holes. And it's like your plant is just not absorbing the water. And you don't want that to be the case for your plant for too long. Because like I said, your plant will become unhealthy and will probably succumb or get sick to some kind of plant illness. Most common is pests. So anyway, and in other ways you can tell is that like the foliage begins to drop more. So I'm definitely losing foliage on this ivy. It has a lot. It has a lot. I wonder how like tall this thing is. Would you imagine it's probably like, 4 feet tall probably? Like, I don't know. I'm 5'3". I'm 5'3". Yeah, it's almost the length of me. I'd say it's 4 feet tall. Anyway, yeah, so foliage is losing. The foliage looks dull. It's just, yeah, it's not as happy as it once was. And so, you know, it's springtime. It's the best time to repot. But then again, any time is a good time to repot if you have to. So never let your plant suffer because it's not springtime and you don't want to repot. So anyway, yeah, let's check this out. All right. So this could be a potential gong show. I don't know. I hope I don't get ivy in my coffee. I'd still drink it. Not gonna lie. Magnifique. So anyway, so what are you guys up to this Sunday? I hope you're having a good day, even though the clocks went back last night. I don't know about you guys, but I was awake when the clocks went back because, baby, I have a 7-month-old baby and his name is Julian. He is a delight, the sweetest little boy, but he's still not sleeping through the night. So I was awake when the clock struck 3. So that kind of sucked. So anyway, yeah, and my other baby is Oliver. He's not so much of a baby anymore. He's 2.5, but he'll always be my baby. So anyway, here I am just trying to take this, oh, good. I didn't like maim myself. I find taking these off can be like the most painful thing for some reason. Yeah, anyway, whatever. So we'll see here what we've got going on. So yeah, like I just gotta show you this. Just look at the crown of this plant. No spider mites, none, but just look. I don't know if you can really appreciate that in this video, but like it's so, if you had, like it's just so full of roots. That's awesome. Got a big plant going on here. I bought this ivy big, like don't be fooled. I have not grown an ivy this large, although I did grow quite a big ivy that I sold to a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine. And I did grow it quite large, but I mean, it was nothing like this. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna make a bit of a mess with this. Me and my husband just cleaned up a bit, so that's gonna suck. But whatever, plants are priority. Oh my goodness. Well, look at that. The smell of fresh soil. Anyway, just look at this. Whoa, there's no dirt in this pot, really. Think about that. You know, there's no, there's little tiny crumbs of soil, but like, where did the soil go, right? So it's one of those mysteries. There's probably some kind of scientific explanation about that, but hell do I know. You know, so the plant, this is my explanation. The plant eats it. I don't know, because I've done this before. Many of you probably have. When you repot it, a very root bound pot, and you open up you take the plant out of the pot, and it's just like there's no soil to be found, really. You know, so it just gets taken up by the plant. Feed me Seymour. This is coffee. So anyway, I just want to show you. You know, oh, well, look at that though. No pests. Beautiful, beautiful roots. Little teeny bit of mold, but that's okay. I can deal with that. My problem with this is the plastic piece. I've had friends that have said, because I have sought assistance with this before, my friends have said to just like leave it be. We'll see, right? We'll see. It's not that far down. I think I'm gonna go for it. Like, I don't know, this might kill this plant, but it might not, because literally, like, look at all these roots. You know what I mean? These roots are a bit wet. I don't know if that's yeah, they're wet, but I'm just wondering, are they mushy? Because if they're not really mushy. See that white? Oh, white is a good root. I don't know if you can see that in the picture, in the video. Yeah, like I just don't want, I want to keep this plant, right? I don't want it to I want it long term. So I'm just kind of concerned that if I leave this plastic in there forever, would that come back to haunt me? Probably. Or haunt my plant. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm just going to like see if I can slide this disc out without ripping all of the roots. And if I do notice that any of the roots are a bit more significant, like they're thicker, I'm going to try to preserve those a bit more. This is the magic of doing a little project like this, is that you just don't know what you're going to get, right? These plants have been grown, you know, somewhere else. You haven't grown them. I sure, like I said, I haven't grown this extravagant, beautiful ivy. So you just don't, you know, you don't know how the plant, you know, what's inside, right? It'd be different if it was your own plant that you grew this large. So yeah, I could cut this plastic disc, but I like to reuse my stuff. Ask anybody that knows me, I'm a little bit annoying that way. Ask my mom. I save all of my wrapping paper. I just snapped a little root, but it had to happen. It had to happen. So, like, honestly, I think that it's gonna be fine. Look, here are the roots, still those bigger ones, the more significant ones. Oh God, my hair is just terrible. Forgive me. I need a haircut. Co-ed, cramping my style, which is not much of a style anymore. Okay, so I've got a little dirt pile. Now, yeah, you know, still a bit moist, which is how you want to keep and care for your ivy. Ivies will succumb to things like spider mites because they're too dry, you know? So that's everyone's common complaint about an ivy, that they get the spider mites. But, you know, I mean, a plant can get spider mites from another plant. This is true, but typically they're dry, right? They're drying out. So keep your ivy consistently moist and, excuse me, dust. You won't have a problem. I'm saying that loosely because you could. Anybody can. There are other things to befall a plant besides spider mites. Just looking. I'm looking for any issues. I don't see any. Like, just looking for pests. Looking for mold, rot. Just see some dusty perlite. Hello, husband. I don't have they can't see you. So he's gonna go mopping. Whatever, this video is happening, right? Because I have 2 children and I have no time. So this video is going ahead, mopping happening or not. So it's real life. IRL. Anyway, I'm done piddling with that. Let's get this rig out on the go. So I've got some soil. I'd say that's a good thing I got some soil. And let's go. I don't have anything special prepared for this soil. This is just literally Pro Mix pink label. I find this is the best soil that I've used. I'm not cool enough to be sponsored or anything. So this is just me and my experience with growing plants. I like this soil the best. Never have a problem with it. Never no pests in the bag, which can happen. Bleh. So, and I have found ye old perlite somewhere in St. John's. I won't say where. At this point, I don't do that kind of stuff in this channel. But anyway, I did find perlite. It's difficult to find right now. I had to search high and low. So all I'm doing is I'm just gotta be careful with perlite. That's like breeding that stuff in is just terrible. So I'm just mixing. I'm not going to tell you ratios. I'm like one of those old women, but not old women, that bake stuff and doesn't know ratios of stuff. And just says, oh, you just have a bit of this and have a bit of that and you best go. So that's what I'm being like right now. So anyway, yeah. I hope this is going to be my first video for my, I'm looking at my husband, for my YouTube channel because he's going to help me do that. going to be leading the blind because I'm really not a techie person. So, you know, here we go. Bit of this, bit of that. It actually is kind of like baking right now because, you know, when you're baking and you've got the wet part of your ingredients mixed up and you got your dry part of your ingredients mixed up and you begin to alternate in your bowl of wet and dry. That's what it reminds me of. Anyway, I'm just getting my mix really nice and fluffy because I want the drainage. There is drainage in this pot. So if you can see, like, that's what it kind of looks like. That's what you want. You're going to use a lot of material, but you know what? This is a 12-inch pot. So I expect that. And you just, yeah, that's it. So, you know, this is about 1/3 of the way full. I don't want too much soil at the bottom because when you think about it, you're watering, you've got all this soil at the bottom, and if this is all too moist, if you've got too much water retained down in the bottom of the pot, you know, it could damage your roots in terms of like your roots too wet, getting root rot, things like that. Now, so I'm at the point now in my repotting journeys where I have to try to size up where the holes are, like to the top of the hanging pot, so that I know what's the nicest part of the plant to how to position it in the pot. So, you know, as opposed to where the hangers go. That's a really bad way of explaining that, but I think you got my gist. Moving my coffee, shan't not spoil that. Okay. All right. So it doesn't really matter in terms of like front and back, because, you know, but I just want like the beautiful front hanging part to be in between two holes so that that comes down, right? So here's one hole where the hangers go, and here's the other hole. And then there's, oh wait now, nope. There's the holes. Tricky. And there's the holes. All right, and then this is pouring out the front. Because this plant goes in a corner. I'll, on my Facebook page, I'll post the picture of what it actually looked like pre repot. Oh my God, what a mess. I'll clean it up before you melt. So anyway, is the plant now in the center of my pot. It's kind of hard to show you, really. You just know that that's what I'm doing. I'm making sure my plant is in this placed in the center of the pot, center of the circle in the circle. And okay, so I'm making sure because now I'm going to just pour some soil around the plant to secure it. So I do have more soil downstairs, which is good, but I don't know if I'll actually use all this. Anyway, so I also got a bit of a plant haul yesterday. That came for me, so I can maybe do another video on my newest plant haul. I don't actually like do too many plant hauls now. I might get just plant here and there because I have a lot of plants, so I don't really want to be dragging in plants, you know, by the half dozen anymore. That was last summer, to be honest. So, yeah, but I was really happy about the plants that I got. But I won't talk about it now because what I'll do is I'll just talk about that in a different video. Oh, that perlite, that volcanic substance. Okay, so I know I haven't put any perlite in here yet because I'm just going to mix it around, like I said. Anyway, but I was gonna say, do you have any plants on your wish list that you're hoping to get this summer? I would like to know, are you an aroid head? Are you a Hoya head? Are you just not into rare plants at all? What are you hoping that we'll see here made available to us in Newfoundland at local nurseries? Yeah, if you have anything that you'd like to share about that, just post it in the comments below that I hope I will receive on this video. I don't know, that's cool. People get chatting about what's available around here. I will say that last summer blew my mind. Last summer blew my mind because I've been into plants, I don't know, for 7 years, I guess now. And like I just never would have dreamed that we would even see the kinds of plants that we got last year. It just blew my mind. You know, I remember when I first moved back to Newfoundland. Here comes my perlite, so I'm mixing some of my perlite in here now. But I remember when I first moved back to Newfoundland, I was mad after a bird of paradise. Really, really, really wanted one. And I would ask local nurseries, hey, can you order it in? They'd be like, no, I can't get it ordered in. And I mean, they would if they could. I know that because they're awesome like that. But they actually couldn't, you know, it wasn't available to them to get in. Now you will see them just like they were at Sobeys, right? Like Kent, big box stores. So like blew my mind. I actually ended up getting a bird of paradise afterwards from a local nursery. I try to shop local as much as I can. It might cost an extra few bucks, but you know what? That's fine. And the care at the big box stores can be questionable. How long they spend in transit, what they're like what the conditions are for the plant as they are in transit. All of that is very questionable. So sometimes you luck out, but sometimes you don't. But anyway, I ended up getting my bird of paradise, and I actually was not that impressed. How ironic. Oh, I got soil on my neck. So anyway, but I did sell it, and you know, the same friend that got my ivy actually got the bird of paradise, and she enjoys it. So that's the main point, or the main thing, is that somebody enjoys it. But anyway, yeah, so I just can't get over what we're getting here in Newfoundland, and it just makes me pretty excited to see what we're going to get this summer. I actually think we're going to get a lot more Hoya here in Newfoundland this summer. You know, but we'll see. For myself, if you're interested, I actually don't have much of a wish list right now. I don't know if I'm just trying to mentally make myself be restrained because I'm, you know, at near capacity at my house for plants right now. I don't know if I'm just in a phase in my mind, and that eventually I'll be like, oh, I want that, and I want that, and I want that. I don't know, maybe I will be like that, but right now I actually don't have much of a wish list. That doesn't mean that there's not a lot of plants that I don't like. There's some pretty rockin' philodendrons around, you know, out there in the plant world. But I'm just I don't know. I don't have the space. They don't fit my vibe. They're expensive. I'm over it. And I don't know. I'm just not really into it. But I must say, there is one plant that I would really like to get my hands on, and I wanted to get my hands on it last year. I mean, it just wasn't made available in many places, and actually right now it's still not that widely available, but it is a Hoya linearis. It's a beautiful plant. You should Google it if you don't know what it is. It might not be to your cup of tea, right? But that's all right, because, you know, each to their own, right? Takes all kinds to make a plant community. So anyway, but I love the linearis. I think that it just suits my vibe. I'm more into kind of wild looking plants. That's why I really like ferns, because they have that like kind of outdoor nature kind of wild look to them. And they're just so cool. The fact that ferns are like millions of years old, they're like kind of prehistoric when you look at them. They kind of look like reptilian. They kind of look like dinosaurs. I don't know. They're cool. And I really love them. But you got to have the humidity for ferns. So most of my ferns live up in my upstairs bathroom. That has a lot of plants in it right now. But you know what? Nobody goes up there. So whatever. It's my little sanctuary. I like it. That's what matters. You do you. So yeah, but I would really like to know what kind of wish list plants you've got. Is there a plant that you've killed before and you want to try it again? You know, we're going to try that this summer for spring growing season. Yeah, let me know these things. But anyway, back to what we're doing here. Getting low on soil. My ivy is almost filled in around the sides. And it's important to know too, when you repot, that your plant is going to be going into shock temporarily. So you have to anticipate the plant's needs. So you're going to need to make sure, especially with something like an ivy or, you know, a fern or whatever, that it's consistently moist. I've already mentioned that, I think, in this video. That, yeah, but, you know, knowing that your plant is going to be like, what's up? What's going on? What just happened to me? You know, you want to make sure that your plant is consistently moist. Don't soak it. Well, that's a lie. I have soaked my ivies before, and they actually did respond well. I'm just kind of a person that doesn't, I'm like a kind of an underwaterer, if that's a word. I made it one. So, you know, but the one time I did soak my ivy, it actually like responded really well. But like, it's not something I guess that I would do like a lot, because I would be afraid that I would overwater it. But now, you know, that's just my experience, right? So this is a really big plant too. So it might have been that it's such a big plant, all this foliage is gonna like take that water in, so it might be okay in this kind of situation. But yeah, so just a reminder that your plant's going to be in shock. This plant will be in shock, so I have to anticipate. I'm going to be looking at this plant very closely. I won't be treating this plant with any other type of like treatments, such as fertilizer or like pesticides. I do a neem solution, neem, N-E-E-M. It's like a horticultural oil, and it's really awesome for especially ivy that can really get those fire mites. And I think maybe that's why I haven't had any, right? That, and I can keep my plant consistently moist, and I have high humidity in this house, I think. But, you know, I won't be doing any treatments because the plant's in shock. It doesn't need any extra things happening to it. So you have to keep that in mind, right? Like, just don't bother your plants too much. Bother them staggeredly, right? I don't know. Hands off as much as you can, right? So same thing with taking cuttings. I wouldn't do that. Well, actually, I haven't taken any cuttings off this plant anyway, because I just want it to grow big and beautiful. I really like big, full plants. Who doesn't? So, and what was the other thing? And then another thing to keep in mind is that when you're repotting, like you're used to your plant spilling out of this pot when it's close to being like root bound. It's big, beautiful. It's spilling out of your pot. It's just a beautiful, bountiful looking plant. So when you repot, they don't always look so nice. And that's just something you just got to keep in mind, right? So you're just going to have to wait it out. If you're impatient like me, for your plants to look good, that might be a bit painful, but just let it go because it will look really nice. I repotted a Tradescantia Sabrina, so the purple wandering dude, there a few days ago, and it looked a bit sad when I first repotted it, and now it's beautiful. I might actually, before I end this video, it's getting long, but before I end this video, I might show you guys that plant. It's just awesome. It's a very common plant, but I like common plants. I'm common myself, so I like common plants. They're common for a reason. I like plants, and this is another reason why I'm not super into rare plants. I mean, there's some rare plants that I really like. I do have a couple, but like I don't want a plant that stresses me out. Like I got enough stuff to deal with. I'm busy enough. I shouldn't say I got enough stuff to deal with. I don't have a stressful life, and I'm very thankful for that. It's a privileged position to be in, but I don't want to add any more stress, things to be on my plate by having a very rare and finicky plant. So anyway, here is, wow, it's heavy. Okay, so here's my ivy. I'm gonna stand back. So yeah, it's, here, yeah, I got a big mess to clean up. So it's significantly shorter now, right? So that's one thing that I mean, that makes logistics sense, right? Something just fell down somewhere. Boo. So anyway, yeah, here's that plant. And I'm gonna give it a good drink in a second. I got some water on hand. In fact, so you wouldn't know if I was that prepared for everything in life. Oh, I've got water on hand. That's not real life. Anyway, so now what I'll do, so I'll just give it this bit of water here and move it over here. I gotta go, I'll hang it, but I won't do that here in this video, but I will take a picture and post it somewhere. By the way, if you wanna find my plant Instagram page, it is called Nancy Plants. Name checks out. Check that out. I have some pictures of my plants, and I have pictures of my kids. It's cute. They're like my little slips. They're humans, they're not plants. Okay, so I'm gonna go get my Sabrina and show you because it's super cute. Here is my Sabrina that I repotted just the other day, and it has bounced back lovely. Such a nice plant. It's like such a nice plant. And let's just test. Oh, it's still nice and damp, moist. And yeah, here it is. Oh, perlite. Taking their little drink. So, yeah. So that's the point of this video, is to repot with you guys and just get acquainted with making videos. Like this is a learning experience for me. That's all I gotta say. But I quite enjoy talking about plants. My husband knows. He hears me talk about them enough. So do my parents. So, it's nice to continue chatting with other people and who are interested in the same thing. And so anyway, if you have any questions or comments or have any ideas for videos that you'd like to see, also you can put that in the comments. I've been inviting you to make lots of comments. So yeah, I guess that's where I'll end it today. And I hope you all have a really nice Sunday and the beginning of a new week. And get out there and enjoy that extra hour of sunshine. But thanks again for looking at this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.